Do you want to know how much I pay to live here in Sydney? I'd like to answer this question right away, but first you might wonder, why am I worried now about this question? As I told you in my last video, I start to work in a cafe as a kitchen hand. And that means that I had a huge drop in my salary in comparison with what I earned as a trader. So for a moment I start to panic. Is my new salary going to cover all of my expenses here in Sydney, one of the 10 most expensive cities to live in? In this video I'm going to break down all of the expenses and I'm gonna see if this has been worth it to live, to work and to study here. And the real problem about this subject is that once you get here in Sydney and you start to earn in Australian dollars, you feel that you have an amazing purchasing power. And once you're able to pay for your rent, to pay for some of your bills, you start to really forget about how much you indeed pay to come here and to live here. Now, let's cut to the chase. As I came to Sydney 7 months ago, I lost a lot of information, all about flight tickets, health insurance, how much I paid for the school. All of this information, I tracked them down and now I'm finally able to tell you how much I indeed pay to come here and to live here. As I closed the deal with an agency to study here for 2 years, it's important to say that all of these expenses are going to be divided for these 2 years. First of all, I'm going to begin with the most expensive cost that I have, the rent. Even to find a good place to live here in Sydney can be a struggle. And I'm very lucky that I already came to live here with my brother in a calm neighborhood and in a comfortable apartment. So only for my room I spend alone 240 Australian dollars every week. Yes, here we don't pay monthly, we pay the rent every single week. And that's how I'm going to go through all my other expenses. The next bills that I'm going to talk about are split between myself, my brother and his girlfriend. So apart from the rent, we spend another $75 every month for internet, which means about 6 Australian dollars per week for me. For electricity and water, it's another story. Electricity and water are charged every 3 months and we pay about 320, which means 9 Australian dollars per week for each of us. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the flight tickets. 3,600 Australian dollars is how much I paid for my flight tickets to come here. That means $37 per week. Of course, you can find cheaper flight tickets, but you're going to see at the end of this video that it won't make a huge difference at the end of the day. Another huge cost is how much I paid for my project management course. Okay, now that is going to really hurt. 8,250 is how much I paid for my project management course with a duration of 2 years. Note, you don't have to pay it all at once, but it is still a lot. Okay, student visa. Student visa was 659. That means another 10 Australian dollars every single week. I also paid an immigration agent to help me with the process, another extra 150 Australian dollars. In other words, $1.50 per week. Ryan, are you adding the values in the screen, right? Yeah, so they can see the amount of money. What? Ask them to subscribe my channel? I won't do this, it's so lame. But serious guys, if you don't want to miss the next videos, just hit the subscribe button and the bell. Now let's talk about food. I reckon you guys can spend a lot more eating out or buying some expensive foods to eat at home. But I am extremely rigorous about food and my diet. And as I started to work in a kitchen, I need to say that I spend a lot less money with food. That being said, I don't spend more than 100 Australian dollars with groceries every week. And still on the health subject, I spend $22 every week just with gym and an extra $22 with supplementation. And I'll include those in life costs because trust me, you don't want to be sick here in Australia because you end up spending a lot more with hospital bills. We don't have a free general public health system as in Brazil, so I think it's very important to consider this investment in your health, guys. About transportation, here in Sydney you won't spend more than $50 per week with transportation. If you are using public transportation in a week and you hit this $50, you are not going to be charged for the extra travels you make. So that's the maximum amount that you're spending with public transportation. Honestly, I spend more with transportation here because I bought a car last year, and I could make another video just talking about buying a used car here in Sydney. But let's just leave that for a future video. As I'm not using my car a lot and I live really close to work, I won't say that now I'm spending more than $50 per week. But that doesn't include the regio. That's a tax you pay for the government just to use your car for the year, and that's about $1,000 per year, which means $20 every single week. And I won't include here the money that I'm going to spend fixing it. It has already some problems, and this last week I even didn't use the car. Another expense that's worth mentioning is the mobile internet. I pay $45 every month to have a good mobile internet here, and that means another $11.50 every single week. Oh my god, guys, are you ready to see the total amount? Okay, Ryan, put that on the screen. Yeah, that's a lot. As you can see, that's a lot. And that's the total amount I spend every week. And I'm not even taking into account basic things like clothes, entertainment, and one of the most important things that you have to consider if you want to live here, taxes. I'm definitely not going to talk about taxes right now because I'm not an expert, but it's important for you guys to have this in mind in case you want to be here for good. Now you guys may be asking yourselves,
If is why you made the effort to calculate everything in weeks.
As I told you guys in my last videos, here in Australia we are paid every single week. We are not paid monthly like in Brazil or some other countries. Are you guys looking at this number? Keep that in mind, because in a future video I'll be talking about how much money a student can make here every single week. So I won't say that Australia is a bad country and that you're not going to make some money here, but as you can see, you end up as well spending a lot of money. I hope you guys benefited from the video somehow and that added some value to your lives. See you on next video.